understand. So that's what a parable is, and I want to suggest that the title of our quarterly is a parable. It says, Jesus, the anchor of our soul, of the soul. I want to say that this is a parable, and I'm going to use anchor and a boat as something that we know. We know about an anchor and a boat. So that's our story. We have an anchor, and it's attached to a boat. And what we need to understand is our relationship with Jesus. And I think this parable of an anchor and a boat will help explain the relationship that we have with Jesus. So, in our story of the boat, who's the anchor? Jesus, right. And what connects the boat to the anchor? A chain or a line. And what connects us to Jesus like a chain or a line?
Our hearts.
Pardon?
Our hearts.
Our hearts? Prayer? Sorry? Our faith.
Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit. I want to say a relationship. I want to, for our purposes today, I want to say that that line is like a relationship. So, why does the boat need an anchor?
To keep it in place.
To keep it in place. That's a good analogy, I think. So we have a boat, and say the water is calm, and we don't want the boat to drift away, so we put down an anchor, and that'll hold the boat there. So that's one use for a anchor, is to hold you from drifting away, as it were. You might also put down an anchor if there's a terrible storm, and you need to stop yourself and hold yourself in a terrible storm, and the anchor will hold you there in a terrible storm. Now, what if your engines have quit, you have no way of controlling your boat, and you're heading to some rocks? What would you do? Say you don't have sails, say it's a motorboat.
Then you have to drop your anchor.
You drop your anchor, and it holds you from becoming shipwrecked. So we can kind of get this idea of what an anchor does. And if Christ is our anchor, he will hold us from becoming shipwrecked through that line that connects us, that relationship. So can the anchor in itself have hands and undo the line and let the boat go? No. The anchor does what it does. It holds you. And the line, that relationship, it connects you to the boat or to us. Can we undo the line that connects us?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry, yeah.
So I think what you're getting at, as we've always learned, is that Christ will hold on to us, but he gave us free will that we can let him go.
Yes.
It's the evil one that will not let us go. You have to ask for the help of God to help us. And Christ is our anchor in this world, or else we go crazy like everybody else and think you're what? Dolphins or mermaids or penguins, when we're made in the image of God, and all the other lunacy that happens in the world, right? And because of him, he says he will give us peace beyond understanding.
Yeah, I like what you brought up about Satan and him holding. He wants to maintain that relationship, and he won't let go of that line either. Both, I don't think, want to let go of the line, but we are capable. Now, what about if the line breaks? Is it the anchor's fault? Does the anchor have anything to do with choosing the line that connects you?
No.
No, it doesn't. It's there. It'll do its job. I think we're responsible also for the relationship we have for God. If we spend the time developing that relationship, It's like taking time to figure out what strength of line we need to hold our boat in the worst conditions possible. And that's the line that we use. It's the same sort of analogy to us taking time in our weeks and our days to spend time with God to keep that relationship alive. And if we don't maintain the line will get brittle perhaps and break, and we'll be lost.
Yep.
So we can see all of these things, this parable. Parable teaching is really dynamic, and it can teach you so much when you start to look at this simple idea of Christ being an anchor. And you can make applications in the world from this. One of the ideas that came to my head was with regard to marriage, and what some of Christ's teaching. And if my wife were to commit adultery, say, I wouldn't really, if she came back and said, will you please forgive me? I would have to forgive her and continue on. And I think, because that would be like being Christ-like, holding on no matter what, that anchor, being the anchor for our marriage, as it were. And if she kept doing this, I mean, within reason, each time she was sincere about coming back and asking for forgiveness, I think I'd have to give her forgiveness each time until she came to me and said, I don't want to be with you anymore. I want to be with this other man. And then, who's letting go? She's like letting go of our relationship. I've been Christ-like and held on to the relationship and forgiven her like Christ would. But she was the one that let go of the relationship. And then I think I could be quite comfortable giving her a divorce. Yes?
It's interesting because the Jews, they can divorce for any reason almost. I didn't like your food, you are gone. If we see in our Canadian perspective, this is not that bad because women are independent today. But back then, a single woman will have a lot of issues. For that reason, when Jesus narrows says, only one reason. But he say, whoever divorce or give letter of divorce to his wife, other than adultery, he make his adulterer and make his fornication.
Yeah.
The point is, when a person make adultery, they broke the contracts. The other people is free